Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of the Tips and Tricks series for Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalguur. I have quite a few, so let's get into it, and they range from, a beginning player who doesn't know things, or, much at all, to even some advanced tricks for people that are in the end game. So let's get into them. In the last patch, they actually made it so that gold drops, I would say a lot more, maybe 50% to double. So gold is a bit easier to acquire now. So much so that it's really important if you're doing Faustus. This league has been tough for gold or for chaos to earn chaos and divines, but I've been particularly focused on one item, buying and selling it. Now here's the thing, if I wasn't buying and selling it, people say, oh, this is flipping, and I understand some people don't like flipping, and that's okay. But if I wasn't in this market, the prices would be lower for the sellers, the people that are selling it. I buy it for literally the highest price on there, and I'm selling it for the lowest price. So people that are buying it on here would be buying it for more if I wasn't in this market, and they would be selling it for the sellers would be selling it for less. So I don't know. And it's a service right in here. I'm a middleman, and this is what I've been doing with it. Let's see. 3,700. I've probably got another 1,000 worth of chaos on there, and I already spent 30 divines. So, and I can't make that anywhere else in the game right now. So what I do is I do that on there on Faustus. I buy and sell. I use all my gold for that, lots and lots of gold, and then I just buy the stuff I need, and I go from there. Let's go for the next actual tip, but that's the importance of Faustus. If you're having a hard time with loot, that's a solution. Not the best, but it's a solution. And you don't have to, it goes in the background. That's a really nice thing. Let's say you have a bunch of div cards that are all set up. That means they're full stacks. Like these are just one for a one stack. That's 3 make a full stack. You don't have to go back into the campaign to tsunami, that guy. You can do it right here, and you just control left click it in there, trade, and you just do a bunch of these. These are just easy cards that I had. In fact, you get a lot of these kind of cards, for these right here, for the alterations, from the Nico sulfite nodes in your maps. I'd say 1 out of every 4 will drop one of those cards, so you get 10 alterations. It's not too bad. It's a little something. Oh, what's that? Interesting. There we go. Cool. Let's go on to the next trick. Somebody mentioned the 3-for-1 recipe for maps, and that I didn't make it quite clear. Watch this. So I got a bunch of maps that are the same level. Let's say it's ones you don't want to do and you don't want to sell. You don't want to have your map guy run it in the town at the end of the game there. So I put these 3 in, and I get a leyline map. Let's take this one out, and we'll put this one in. Still get a leyline map. Interesting. But I put this one in. These are all basilicas, and I get an underground sea. These maps all have unique identifiers tied in behind them, so you can mix and match to get the next tier higher. I don't usually do that, but if it's a way. You can also use your horizon orbs. So let's say you have one of these, and what a horizon orb will do, it reforges a map as the same tier. Now I don't know if it tries to give you one that you're missing in that tier of maps, but it's another thing to do. Let's say you're out of tier 16s and you just roll a tier 16 map to try to get it to turn into another one. So you can use those. Cool. Sticking with maps briefly, this will generally only change when you do a Keurig mission, but sometimes I come over here and it seems like he's changed his tune. So I hold down the Alt key and I hover over all these. Now these are all complete. But let's see. Nope. So then I'll come back over here, and if we run a Keurig mission, looks like a tier 5, what I would do is I'd come over here, and when you're looking at these, I would hold down Alt again, and I'd look and just hover over that to see where it says incomplete. There's one. So that's the one I'd run. As soon as I say click and activate, it'll spawn on my portals. Now it won't use my Atlas nodes in there. It'll just do a regular generic map, but that way you can get credit for it getting complete, and then you come over to him right as soon as you press that, come over here. I would buy the chisels because they're cheaper to buy from him than on from the trading site. And then I would hover over this and press Alt, and these will update and change and find any maps that are worth running. Some of them cost 7 KS, but it's worth it. Just get it and and get it and run it. Done deal. Cool. This next one is completely optional, but if you go into options, tab, see how this map, some people run it with it up there, some people run it right there. I run a lot of delves, so I usually use it to steer. I use that map, and I just run and steer that way. I don't really look at what's going on around me because I just want to get through the area quickly, smoothly. So I use that as a steering guide. However, if you don't come in here, check this out. Here's the transparency. It's worth taking a look and just setting it how you want. Sometimes it's too bright. I wish there was dynamic, like on a bright map, it would make it brighter, and on a dark map, it would just lessen it down because then it wouldn't stick out as much. But then you can also go like this. I wouldn't do it this way because you want to be able to see as much as possible, especially on puzzle maps where you got to do some trials or something like that. You want to be able to see all the doors and unlock them and pull the levers, and it actually activates and shows you on there. Now, a lot of things, if you have this way up, sometimes it's really hard to see as you're trying to travel along. You're like, where's the way through? And it's kind of blurry if they have these walls on there like this. But if you get rid of them, it's just a clear, concise line. So it's up to you. You can do it either way, but that's a way to do it. Cool. A lot of you will see this Kyric's Vault Pass. Now this is a monthly pass you can buy, or you also get one for free. So let's go do that real quick. You'll see it come up and you'll think, where was that? It's right here in Epilogue up at the top. You just click on Karui Shores. And if you have PoE Awakened Trade app, you can just press a button and get right back to a lot of things. You can press a button and go to King's March. You can press a button and go back to your hideout. All kinds of things. It allows you to set a bunch of shortcuts. Now, I've already opened all these, and the more maps you run and complete, the more it'll let you do here. So it looks like we got this one. Now, if you do the monthly pass, you get access to this stuff, which is cosmetic. See how it's down here? It's all cosmetic. There's no pay to play here. Ooh, I've almost got enough maps done. Interesting. Ooh, we get 20 chisels. Very cool. And what do I have to do to this one? Not enough. So if you want to see what it is, let's see. We need 115 map mods, and then we're going to get this simulacrum. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to bring up Path of Exile, or not Path of PoE Awakened Trade. This is allowed by Grinding Gear Games. They allow you to do this, which is cool. So I've got it where I can bring it up here. Then I'm going to go to my chat and my hotkeys, and I'll let you take a look at these. But exit, if I press F2, it'll exit to the character selection screen instantly. It's called a logout macro. A lot of people in hardcore use these. Very few of them don't use them because if they get in trouble, they just press that and they're out of the game. Seems cheesy, but that's part of the game. They allow it. This is a command that's allowed in. You can type any of these in the chat. /exit will do the same thing. /Kingsmark. I have it on F6, so if I press F6, it'll bring me there. You could do /delve. It'll bring you into the delve area. I've got a key. If I press F4 and I'm doing trades with people, you can literally, it'll say, hey, it'll to the last person, 1 second, I'm going to fight, and almost always I'm in delve, because that's what in delve you can't leave in between the areas. I can leave a group. What else? I can reset my EXP, so if I'm down here and I didn't know it did that. If you reset your EXP, see that down there at the 24 million per hour? That's how much you get. But if you want to test your EXP per hour, sometimes I'm in delve and I'll press F2 and I'll run a bunch of certain nodes a certain way. And then I'll look at my EXP hour. And then I'll go run some maps and I'll say F2, press F2, and then I'll compare the EXP per hour out of the two. And it gives me a good idea of what's better or worse EXP wise. Kind of nice. And then, reset X. Yep. Everything remain. I press F3 and I can see how many creatures exactly are remaining in the map. All kinds of nice stuff. So let's find out. PoE Awakened Trade. Where would we download that? I'll just say save and exit. 1 second. I can press F6 and I can go to King's March. Or I can press, for me, I press F7 and I go to my hideout. Very cool. And to download it, all you have to do is type in Google PoE Awakened Trade, and it should be the first one that comes up. It's a GitHub download, and the author is called SNOSME, so Snosme, and he's been working on that project. I think it's maybe his project for years and years, and it's a great app. Very, very cool stuff. So that's how you download it. PoE Awakened Trade. Very nice. And I control left click. I have the affinity set right here for currency, and it takes it over. There's a second tab on your coin, your currency tab, and it looks like they're putting all the chisels right over here. We've got a bunch of Maven's chisels. We got, what's this? Maven Chisels of Scarabs. Improves the quality of map enhancing scarabs found in there and other types. I usually just reuse the regular ones, but that's okay. And let's say you have this. Here's an interesting thing. If I control right click, it'll take as many as can fit over there. Look at that. And then if you hold down Alt, it'll tell you how many. So let's say you're doing a trade for 1,000. Then I would know, just like that. And then I'm ready for 1,000. So I go to the person's hideout to do the trade. They put up their amount, and then I can just control right click, and it puts all 1,000 in the trade window for them. And then you hold Alt over your side and over their side, just, to find out how many are on their side. Make sure the numbers match just by pressing Alt. Again, you can just hold down Alt. Looks like 1,040. Control right click, goes right back in, and then you confirm both numbers are right, and you accept the trade. Very cool. Nice. That's a new thing. This league, they added a lot of mana costs to melee. And this is kind of a more melee specific thing, but what I ended up doing, I've never used it before, blood magic. It gives me 10% more life. I'm cool with that because my life is still really low. And it moves all the mana reservations, all the mana costs, everything over to life. So now all my skills cost life instead of mana, and so do the reservations. Now an aura skill, like something like this, it would cost 50%. Well, it would be 50% of my health. I don't want to do that. So I thought they got rid of it, but they kept it. One of the viewers said so, and it's called the Eternal Blessing Support. What that does is it allows me to have one going at a time. Usually you'd want to pick one of the more expensive auras like Pride, or you could do Purity of Elements. Let's see if I've got that one working somewhere. Nope. I think I've already made it. I don't know. It's around here somewhere. Purity of Elements or Haste. Not only that, but I can alternate between the two just like this. If I just press 1, it turns off Pride. And now I can move even faster, and then attack speed too. So if you want more movement speed, you can go like that. And that's what I do. I just toggle between them. If I want to do more damage with Pride, that's the way I do it. If you want a third one, you could do, especially I have a lot of open sockets, as you can see. I could put a blue one here, Purity of Elements, and switch over to that if I really wanted to. If I'm in a delve that's difficult, I could do that. So this is the way to get around high mana cost. The drawback is I can only use one aura at a time. For me, that's okay. For you, it might not be, but it's so nice not having to worry about anything to do with mana. So I go that route. I hope that helps. And again, just to reiterate, when you have when you're doing trades and you want to make sure they're the right thing, hold that Alt key down and it'll add it up for you. Same with theirs. So if they're trying to trade you, a weird mix, which has never happened. I've done thousands of trades. I've never been scammed yet. It can still happen, so you have to be aware. People can put the wrong thing in there. Usually if they'll skip things, they'll put stuff in, take it back out, but just, double check to make sure it's the right thing. Just an Alt, that helps. It says Chaos Orb is 140, and then it'll say whatever, a Divine, and, stuff like that. Pretty cool. Control right click, puts it all back over there. Nice. Oh, Foster's he's going to give us a bunch. Let's go find out how much. He just gave us that. 560 chaos. I can't beat that anywhere else yet. Oh, and we'll do our thing. Control right click. So now we're up to 4,000. Very nice. I'm probably going to have to do the automated flasks in the next episode, but I'm going to hover over these you can search for them. And if you want to search for them, you go something like this. Let's say we'll do this one with PoE Awaken Trade. You have to actually go into the hidden part. So I'll take off this. I'll say the quality 20, but you go into the hidden part and say that. If you really want to search for these without crafting them, in the next episode, I'll probably show you how to craft them. It's a little difficult. But that right there, it'll pull up all the ones that have this enchant and 20 quality. So there's the prices on them. And more than likely, you're going to want the more expensive ones down here, because they're going to have better stats on them. Nice. Item level matters like that. Item level is 65, so that's too low. I need like an item level 83 or so to get the better rolls. See, that's a tier 2. It could have been a tier 1 on armor. If you do buy these, you can't stack, like, see how it says 52% armor? I can't go armor, all okay. They have to be different, otherwise they override each other. So be careful about that. So I've got crit, movement speed, not the best. I can get a 14 on there instead of a 10. Increased evasion rating, didn't really like that one, but it's okay. And then that. That's across the board. Very cool. If you're dying a lot, this type of flask is going to help you immensely. This isn't even the best version of it, but there's better versions. I just haven't went out and looked for one. But specifically, it says this. See how it says the recovery part? Now, it's a reduced amount recovered. That's okay. It's only 2,200. But if I'm low on life, meaning half health or less, generally, you can get the full recovery instantly. It instantly recovers 2,200. Without that, you might be getting bleed, or there might be a degen on the ground, and it's so strong that even if you pop this, it won't be enough to overcome it. And you're like right here, and you're trying to heal, and it's not doing anything, and you're just and you're dead, and it's frustrating. Whereas this, you'll press it, it goes back up, and you're going down still, and you press it, and you get the full 2,200 again, and you press it a third time, and then you finally lived. Or it just gets you out of trouble right away. So this is called this is what I call a panic flask. It's really important to have. So if you're dying, that's one way to solve it. It's a big way to solve it. Have a panic flask. Eventually, I'll have no health flask at all. This is a neat build. For me, it's fun. The next thing, if you're coming close to a level and you don't want to die because of the 10% experience penalty, I think that starts to kick in after the campaign. Well, what you do is you really shouldn't open the chest unless you're IDing them and you know that the detonate dead thing, the explosions of the corpses, that'll get you so often. It gets me I was like right here and I couldn't help it and opened up a chest, and it's so frustrating because it's like, oh, you're almost there, go back, you gotta work your way back up again. So as you're getting, take less risks, don't open that chest, or at least maybe ID it, take a second to ID it, something. The next way that it's going to happen where you're going to die a lot, if you'll notice patterns of deaths, is you're going along and you'll see something behind you and you're like, oh, something dropped, and you go back to it. Anytime you go back to where you were standing a second ago in Path of Exile, the chances of you being killed go way, way up, because everything's aiming at where you are right now. That's why if you're moving, it's always a good thing. They're aiming at where you were a second ago. And if you go back there, everything's coming back to hit it. Or there'll be a explosion that's happening behind you. You don't see it. You go back to it, and boom, bam. And you just walked into an explosion. Going back, backtracking, you'll notice a pattern. Lots of deaths that way. Let's see. Oh, also, if you're down in Delves, I like Delves because it literally lets me pick how difficult it is. Let's say I'm going along and it's a little difficult, but it's not too difficult, but it's a little risky. Well, if I'm right here, I'm going to back off. I'll take less EXP per hour, but I'll back off and go up into this kind of area. And I'll do something like this instead. And I'll do easier stuff up here. And then I might even take a look. Oh, see how there's no bad modifiers? But if I go lower, all of a sudden bad modifiers can kick in. Let's see, like right here. If I go in here, there's extra modifiers. So if you go a little higher, maybe there's no modifiers. It's just a little easier, a little safer as you're coming close to that. And if you follow those rules, back off on the difficulty, don't open chests unless you've ID'd them, be careful with that, and then don't backtrack. You should be good, and it won't be frustrating. You'll get close for the death parts. I hope these tips help. I've got so many more. I've got lists of stuff. Everything I think about, I just write it down. So in the next one, we'll go over how to create your own chests or flasks, a bunch of things. This speed thing is really cool too. I can't demonstrate it in here. Let's see. Can I demonstrate it in this? Just like that. See how it sprints me ahead? And then I've got my potion on there that automatically uses itself. So I'm starting to move faster and faster. And then I've got adrenaline on this ring that moves me even faster, 25%. So my movement speed is like 250%. So I fly around. I have a blast. We'll go over that if I can remember to do that too. I'll write that down. All right, have a good one and enjoy, guys. This is great. I'm having a lot of fun. Cheers.